Luffa is one of those plants that quietly lived two lives. In one life, it fed people for centuries as a tender green vegetable. In the other, it scrubbed their skin, cleaned their homes, and eventually became a global symbol of natural living. Most people today only recognize Luffa as a sponge hanging in bathrooms, but that is just the final chapter of a much older story. Luffa belongs to the gourd family, scientifically known as Cucurbitaceae, the same family that includes cucumbers, pumpkins, squash, and melons. Its scientific name varies by species, but the two most important cultivated types are Luffa aegyptiaca, also known as smooth Luffa, and Luffa acutangula, commonly called ridged Luffa. Both are climbing vines that thrive in warm climates and produce long, cylindrical fruits that can grow surprisingly large. What makes Luffa special is timing. When harvested young, it is soft, juicy, and edible. When left to mature fully, the flesh dries out, leaving behind a fibrous network that becomes the natural sponge people use worldwide. Few plants transition so cleanly from food to household tool. The origins of Luffa stretch back thousands of years. Archaeological and botanical evidence points to South Asia as one of its earliest cultivation centers, particularly India and surrounding regions. Ancient Indian texts reference vegetables that closely match the description of Luffa, especially the ridged variety, which remains popular in Indian cuisine today under names like ridge gourd or sponge gourd. From South Asia, Luffa spread eastward into China, where it became an established vegetable during the Tang and Song dynasties. Chinese agricultural records describe its cultivation methods, seasonal timing, and culinary uses in soups and stir-fries. At the same time, Luffa moved westward into the Middle East and Africa through trade routes that connected Asia with the Mediterranean world. The species name Luffa aegyptiaca hints at its strong presence in ancient Egypt, where it was grown both as food and possibly for utilitarian purposes. By the time European explorers encountered Luffa, it was already a well-established plant across tropical and subtropical regions. Luffa plants grow as fast-climbing vines with broad leaves and bright yellow flowers. They require warm temperatures, plenty of sunlight, and consistent moisture. The vines use tendrils to climb fences, trellises, or nearby plants, often reaching impressive lengths in a single growing season. The fruit itself starts off tender and green. At this stage, the interior is filled with soft flesh and immature seeds, making it ideal for cooking. As the fruit matures, the flesh becomes bitter and fibrous, and the seeds harden. Eventually, the outer skin dries and cracks, revealing the dense network of fibers inside. Culinarily, young Luffa is valued for its mild flavor and soft texture. It absorbs sauces easily and works well in stir-fries, stews, curries, and soups. In Chinese cooking, Luffa is often paired with garlic and eggs, creating a light, comforting dish. In Indian cuisine, ridged Luffa is cooked with spices like turmeric, cumin, and coriander, sometimes combined with lentils or coconut. Nutritionally, Luffa is low in calories and high in water content, making it a refreshing vegetable in hot climates. It contains dietary fiber, vitamin C, vitamin A, potassium, and small amounts of iron and magnesium. Traditional diets valued Luffa for its cooling properties, especially during summer months. Beyond nutrition, Luffa has a long history in traditional medicine. In Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine systems, Luffa was believed to support digestion, reduce inflammation, and promote respiratory health. Dried Luffa fibers were sometimes used as herbal tools for circulation stimulation, similar to modern dry brushing practices. The transformation of Luffa into a sponge is where the plant becomes globally iconic. When the mature fruit is soaked and peeled, the remaining fibrous skeleton is washed, dried, and sometimes bleached. The result is a lightweight, durable, biodegradable sponge with natural exfoliating properties. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Luffa sponges became a commercial product, particularly in Europe and North America. Before synthetic sponges dominated the market, Luffa was widely used in kitchens, workshops, and personal care routines. During World War II, Luffa gained unexpected importance. The fibers were used as filters and padding in military equipment because they were lightweight, absorbent, and readily available. This period briefly elevated Luffa from household item to industrial material. Culturally, Luffa holds different meanings across regions. In Asia, it remains primarily a vegetable, closely associated with home cooking and seasonal eating. In the Caribbean and parts of Africa, it bridges both worlds, valued as food and tool. In Western countries, it is often disconnected from its agricultural roots, known only as a bath accessory. Modern sustainability movements have brought Luffa back into the spotlight. As concerns over plastic pollution grow, natural sponges made from Luffa are promoted as eco-friendly alternatives to synthetic products. They are biodegradable, renewable, and require minimal processing compared to petroleum-based sponges. Farmers today cultivate Luffa not only for food markets but also for sustainable product industries. Small-scale farms, urban gardens, and permaculture systems favor Luffa because it grows quickly, improves vertical space usage, and produces multiple harvests from a single plant. Luffa is also a favorite among home gardeners. Watching a vegetable transform into a sponge feels almost magical and reinforces the idea that plants can serve multiple roles in human life. One vine can feed a family early in the season and provide household tools later on. There are also lesser-known uses of Luffa fibers. They have been experimented with as biodegradable packaging material, insulation, soundproofing panels, and even as reinforcement in eco-friendly construction materials. Scientists continue to explore how plant-based fibers like Luffa can replace plastics and synthetics. Despite its versatility, Luffa remains underappreciated in many parts of the world. It sits at the intersection of agriculture, sustainability, history, and everyday life, yet rarely gets the attention given to more famous crops. Luffa's story is not just about a plant. It is about how humans adapt nature to their needs without fully separating from it. Food becomes tool, tool becomes symbol, and symbol becomes solution. In a world searching for sustainable alternatives, Luffa quietly reminds us that many answers already exist in ancient plants we once understood better. And that is what makes Luffa special. Not because it is trendy, but because it never needed to be.